Hello Gemini, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing your personality assessment through the tarot cards. So what's important to understand about this personality assessment is that I'm going to be helping you go from your base self to your highest self, and helping you understand the two superpowers that you do have that are guiding you throughout your life that are connected to the divine, okay? So when we look at your base self right here, it represents the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords represents mental imprisonment, mental chains, and being bound to a situation. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, right? You co-rule the planet Mercury with Virgo. The planet Mercury is the closest one to the sun, and it is always being blasted by the sun. The sun, whenever it has a solar flare, it always reaches Mercury first, and then it moves it to the other planets. And so you are the messenger of the sun's wrath. And so you have to understand that you receive a lot of downloads, you receive a lot of information, you receive the brunt of society, the brunt of situations, and that can scare you into cloistering in on yourself. I wouldn't say that you really have negative traits, Gemini. It's that you play off of your own negative traits the most. You usually don't do them to hurt other people, but your negative traits severely impact your life and the way that you interact with other people, okay? So when you come from a place of anxiety, which is the Nine of Swords, you reflect that within everyone around you. And you change other people's moods because you are an air sign to that type of energy, and people see you in a very negative way. So sometimes you think, what I should do is I should stay within this Eight of Swords. It's safe, no one can hurt me, but here's the problem. You're choosing not to look at the situation for what it is. You're choosing to be in darkness when it's a beautiful sunny day outside. You're choosing to self-persecute yourself, basically burn yourself at the stake for no reason, other than the fact that you are suffering from anxiety, your own mental prison that you've built in yourself. Now you might think, well, why do I have all these thoughts? Why do I have all these, bouncing this energy? Why do I have the twins ruling me? Why do I have the capabilities to think a situation inside and out? That's very important when you're making plans on something. What could possibly go wrong? But here's the thing, Gemini. You cannot always sit there and think, what can possibly go wrong in every single scenario within your life? There are things that you cannot account for at all. There is the concept of chance. Now, with this Eight of Swords right here, it's easy for her just to remove these chains, to remove the blindfold, and walk away from the situation. They're not even chains. They're basically bandages wrapped around her. But here's the problem. Once you start moving forward, you become anxious. Well, what's next? What can I do next? What happens now? And you have all of these sleepless nights. But here's the thing. You're looking at things from a very negative situation. Instead of looking at things from a positive polarity, like what could happen from a good aspect, you're looking at them from the negative side of things. You're a masculine sign, and masculine signs are represented by the right-hand path. This is very difficult for Geminis to understand, okay? When you look at the sign Gemini, what does it mean? Well, it has two twins, right? Gemini rules the hands. They are mirror images of the same thing. So you have the right-hand path and you have the left-hand path. You have the negative polarity twin and the right polarity twin, the positive polarity. Geminis can always be stuck within this negative polarity over here where they don't know how to move forward, where they think that darkness is good, where they don't ever want to try to reach out to their right twin to move into this positive masculine polarity of themselves, their true self. This is a negative version of you, okay? When you're looking at the mirror, you are the real person. The image in the mirror is an apparition. It's not real. When you walk away from it, it goes away, but you still exist. That's what's hard for Geminis to understand, is that you still exist within this timeline, in this period of time, okay? You cannot think about everything else that happens in the future. You cannot try to control every single situation. You cannot allow the twin in the mirror to speak negative words to you, to try to dictate your life, to try to control you. You have to stay on the right-hand path, all right? What happens eventually is the Ten of Swords. When you choose not to go into the right-hand path, and it's important to understand your highest self is holding the sword within his right hand, this is a swift conclusion to a situation, okay? This represents a mental death or suicide. Geminis have these thoughts the most because they have all of these negative thoughts going on in their head. Instead of rising above the negative thoughts and instead of rising above the intrusive thoughts, what they choose to do is they choose to give into their base impulse and act as though they're a mad prophet. They are a mad prophet. This is where your negative self controls other people and why people tend to dislike Geminis. When you speak, you don't speak from a positive aspect and you don't speak from a very concise aspect, all right? You speak from all these different situations and going down all these different rabbit holes to where people don't quite understand you. And they think, oh, this is a mad prophet. This person's speaking gloom and doom. Even though you might be completely 100% right, you've still not mastered the ability to cut the bullshit from the facts, okay? So you go down all these other negative polarities, but people don't want to hear that. They want to hear what is the truth. So, for example, say the sun is a solar flare, right? Has a solar flare. And the planet Mercury starts to panic. It's saying the sky is falling, the sun's about to blow up, blah, blah, blah. In reality, when we look at it from a spiritual aspect, the sun is just delivering a message, and you have to deliver that message. You can't look at the sun saying it's going to destroy everything. You have to deliver the message of the sun because Mercury is the communicator to the other planets. Mercury falls away, everything else falls out of orbit, right? So you're very important in this life by speaking the truth and not being scared of the truth. Because here's the thing. This is all darkness right here. When he finally does decide that he wants the situation to end and he finally does, remove himself from this planet, in a nice way of putting things, he sees the light one last time. He sees the light of the hermit. And then all of a sudden he understands and he has true clarity within a situation. He understands, what have I done? I've ruined my life. I've destroyed everything because of my own personal ideas and my own personal thoughts and me not being able to gain a mental clarity and mental strength. And that's what's important to understand about the hermit, is that he does help people in their time of need. And so you do need to connect yourself to this lover's energy. You have to look at the sun directly, not physically, but look at the sun directly in a spiritual aspect and say, what is the message of the sun? How do I bring people out of darkness? This sunlight is really scary to me. It's the worst thing anyone can imagine, because think of it like this. Think of it like Moses in the Bible. I believe it was Moses. God revealed himself to Moses, but he said that you can't look at my face because it will kill you. So God turned his back and showed Moses his back, right? I believe it was the prophet Moses. Don't hold me to that. And when Moses came down from the mountain, which is kind of like that hermit representation, he was bright red and he couldn't speak properly. He was stunned. He had seen the backside of God. That is what this situation is, Gemini. You might not see the full magnitude of a situation, but you're seeing something that's truly frightening. You're receiving these downloads, these messages. And your goal is to speak the truth, because that's what he did. He spoke what God said to everyone else. He spoke the truth. He saw things. He saw the burning bush. He spoke to all of these different things. He wrote the 10 Commandments, right? Or he etched them out, what God told him. And he delivered them to people. Well, he eventually broke them, but, moving on from that. He did deliver the truth. And that's what you have to understand, Gemini, is that when you connect to God, when you connect to the higher source, and you say, you know what, this is scary. This is something that I'm not used to. I want to know the truth. I want to seek enlightenment right here. What happens? Where there's a will, there's a way. You start to find where you need to be within your life. You start looking at the right books, the right texts. You start studying the right things. You start sharply communicating. Because that's the whole point of the Knight of Swords, is that he doesn't have time to fight the battle. The Knight of Swords is kind of symbolic of what's the word I'm looking for? Like an espionage agent. He has information from this castle, the enemy castle, and he has to deliver it to his castle. Now, there's a war raging, but his goal is not to fight this war and get caught up in the BS, right? Because that will lead to his swift conclusion. His goal is to ride through all of the chaos and the conflict, to not be scared, to look at it for what it is. It's a war. To say, you know what, I have to push past it. I know the dangers, but people are counting on me. Not being scared of this situation right here and delivering the message of truth, the message that can destroy this kingdom over here, to the right source, okay? He has the information that is connected to the divine. When we look at the angel blessing Adam and Eve right here, this is the representation of the twins, the feminine and the masculine, all right? You are represented by Adam right here, but your divine counterpart is Eve, all right? Your divine twin, symbolically, spiritually, right? Now, you have to understand that the negative polarity twin did sin before Adam did, okay? And you have to understand that that person cannot control your life. Imagine if Adam did not take from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and only Eve did. Think about it from that perspective. She has the knowledge, but he knows that he can't take the bite. So when we look at this information right here, you have the ability to see things from a darker aspect. You have the ability to rise above and see things from a much higher aspect, a more cosmological aspect, that can be very perplexing to some. Cut out the BS and deliver a harsh truth or the harsh message to the people that need to hear it. People don't want X, Y, and Z. And you can't be scared to deliver that message to them. Well, what if they think about it like this? What if this happens? What if... No, just speak it how it is. Sometimes Geminis are very good at public speaking. Sometimes they're very good at writing books. Because you can be very descriptive, but still get what you need to get across. Writing a book is very difficult because you want to go down all these different rabbit holes, but you have to still stick to the main theme. Now, it's okay to give foreshadowing and give conclusions and whatnot, but you still have to stick to the main theme, okay? And that's the problem with Gemini, is that they can't see the forest through the trees. They can't stick to the main theme of a situation. Connect yourself to the hermit. And here's the thing about the hermit. He carries a piece of the sun inside of the lantern. There is a star inside of his lantern represented by the sun. All right? You have to sometimes be the person who wanders around with enlightenment to show it to the right person, to show it to the right people. Sometimes you actually have to physically move to that situation to tell them. Okay? But you cannot be scared of your own ideas. You cannot be scared of like the what ifs of a situation. No, that's your mission. Do it. That's the whole point of this. Do not get scared of the Ten of Swords. Do not be scared of the Nine of Swords, and don't get trapped in the Eight. These are all mental feelings. They're not physical feelings. That's what's important to understand right here. The swords do not represent a physical aspect. They represent what blocks you mentally. Can you move forward within your life, or are you always going to be stuck within the negative what-ifs? Because Geminis, when they do reach their highest potential, they have the ability to become great speakers, great teachers, great methodologists. Like, you just have the ability, the gift of gab. But you can't come from a negative place, okay? You can't scare other people. Now, it's okay to deliver a harsh truth. Sometimes you do have to deliver a harsh truth that scares people, but it has to be the truth, all right? It can't just be whatever Gemini decided to make up in their mind that day. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reading, Gemini, and I will talk to you later.